Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are talking about potentially the worst siblings on the planet. So if you have siblings, or even if you don't, stick around because we've got some Reddit stories that are truly, truly insane. Before we jump in, two things. I want to address the elephant in the room first. I know that I'm supposed to upload on Sundays. I fought all the wars yesterday trying to, but your girl, long story short, ended up in urgent care. So I am slightly medicated, but I'm here and we're uploading on a Monday. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, that comes after Sunday. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I really tried, but sometimes you lose the battle. So here we are. In other news, I just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I really did not expect to hit it. I hit it on Valentine's Day, and it just made me feel so much better with being sick. And additionally, it's been something that I've been working towards for so long. So I know to some people 1,000 doesn't seem like a huge number, but to me, it was a huge milestone that I am just so grateful for, and I really appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, I celebrate all the little wins on all of them, and every single comment, follow, subscribe, like means the world to me. That being said, before I jump in, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, all the things. It takes about 0.2 seconds. It's free and it helps me reach my dream. As well as don't forget to comment if you can, because why not? I'm telling you my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. We are just nosy bystanders who like to hear about drama but don't like to be in it. So let's talk about it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Starting off strong with, am I the a-hole for saying again? After my sister announced that she's pregnant with twins. My 21 female sister, 32 female, okay, so 11-year age difference, has been married to her husband, 33 male, for 8 years. They already have 6 kids total. The last one was born 5 months ago. It's a lot of children. I wonder, so they've been married for 8 years, 6 kids. That's a lot. I wonder if they had any before or after marriage. Not that it's any of our business. Have as many kids as you want. As long as you both are consenting and you want that and you can afford that, do your thing. But that is a lot of kids. Yesterday, my sister had announced that she's 3 months pregnant with twins, and while everyone was congratulating her, I said out loud, "Oh my God, again? Can't your stupid husband leave you alone?" I didn't mean to say it out loud, but it slipped out, and my sister looked at me angrily and literally dragged me into another room and asked, "Why the F did you just say that?" Understood. Honestly, like, understand your point, but that isn't the time to say it. Again, like, it's none of your business, but if you're coming at it from, like, a concerned point of view, the moment she announces she's pregnant with twins is not the time to be like, "What is wrong with you?" It's the time to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Twins? That's crazy. I'm excited for you." And then later you can address any concerns you have in a kind way if you feel like it's helpful or you genuinely are, like, worried about health and well-being of your sister. Anyway, let's finish the story. I told her that she and her husband have been pregnant every year for the last 8 years and that she needs to take a break. I was worried about her having so many babies in such a short time, and I didn't want anything bad happening to her. She then said, "How about you leave us alone and worry about your own shit? This is my life, so F off." My mother told me that I should apologize for being rude, but I told her that I won't apologize for showing concern. Bestie, you would hate the Duggars. I'm just saying. But now I just can't help thinking that maybe I was being an asshole and sticking my nose into other people's business. I was just worried that maybe I was being a jerk. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, like I said, you can be concerned. Like, I feel like it doesn't sound like there's anything concerning going on as long as she is consenting and wants 8 children and they both are in agreement. Like, yes, that's a lot. Yes, that does wreck a woman's body. But it's her choice, as well as, like, her husband, on whether they want to do that. Also, I'm on the outside looking in, so if there is something going on I don't know about, like, that could be the case, you know? So I don't wanna say, like, oh yeah, there's nothing going on, everything's hunky dory, if there is, because I know that like in relationships, there's situations where maybe the husband wants kids, but the wife doesn't, and so she like does it even though she doesn't want to, and all those situations. But we can only go for face value here, and judging on what she's saying, it sounds like she really wants to have kids, and like there's nothing wrong with that. That's a lot of kids, but as long as she can handle it financially, emotionally, physically, then go off clean. There is quite a large edit, so I will read that now. Yes, I do babysit my sister's kids sometimes, and all 6 of them at the same time whenever they need me to, and if I'm available. They pay me $30 to $50 an hour, but their kids are pretty destructive and they don't respect other adults like they're supposed to, so it's a full chore watching after them. Okay, when was this? This was posted 2 years ago. I used to babysit anywhere between 2 and 4 kids for like $12 an hour. And maybe I was being horrifically underpaid. This was like, oh my God, this was like a decade ago now. That is horrifying that it's been a decade. But maybe, the rates change, but $30 to $50 an hour is not bad. If they're getting paid $50 for 2 hours, that's $100 for 2 hours. That would be $200 for 4 hours. That's good pay. Like, I don't know what you mean by destructive. I don't know their ages. They all have to be under 8. So that is quite a bit. And I don't know. I mean, if you think about like legally, you can only have a very small amount of children per adult in a classroom. I want to say it's like 4 for younger kids, and it's definitely 8 for like 3 to 4 year olds per person. So I can't remember the exact numbers, but that's in like a school setting where they're literally trained to handle these children. So maybe you are just not the right person to watch the kids, because $30 to $50 is great. That's a lot. And based on, I don't know what the rates are now. But anyway, I get it's a full chore, but you're also getting paid a lot, like, to do so. Anyway, I'm aware that the stupid husband comment was inappropriate, but I have almost no filter, and my stupid mouth says things before my brain can stop it. I do that too, I get it. And I've seen some comments talk about my ages and assuming my sister is 21. I'm 21, my sister is 32, and her husband is 33. Age gap. Update. I apologized to my sister for insulting her husband and making that rude comment, but I told her I'm still worried about her having so many kids back to back, and I'm just concerned in general about her health and well-being. She actually forgave me and said it's because I'm her youngest sister. She knows that my problem with keeping my thoughts to myself and that I'm working on myself, and she also knows that I'm concerned for her and she appreciates it. But she just assured me that she's fine and said that this pregnancy wasn't planned and her husband plans on getting a vasectomy because they both want this pregnancy to be the last. For those asking in the comments, she and her husband can afford to have kids. He runs a very successful business, and she is still co-partner with her best friend in a company that they both started before she got married. How she manages to juggle being a full-time mom and work here and there is beyond me, but she does. That's why I babysit sometimes when the nanny isn't available. Her husband was the only one who initially wanted a big family, and my sister just went along with the idea, but that's their business. Okay, so that answered all of my questions. That all being said, taking all that into account, I obviously think you're the asshole. There is a way to address it if you're like concerned, and that's not the way. I also think that being 21, when I was 21, you think that like your opinion is right. And when you're going into conversations like that, where you're telling someone else what to literally do with their body, like, hey, I don't think you should be doing this with your body, maybe have like evidence to back it up. Like, obviously, you should come from a place of concern, but you're assuming that it's hurting her body because the average person would assume it is. Maybe pull up some like case studies and say, hey, I'm concerned, but then you don't want to freak her out. Okay, sorry, I'm rambling. All in all, that was not the appropriate time to say that you are concerned. You can address it at a further date. Obviously, saying her husband is stupid is not great either. And what do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts, because this is one that is all over the place. Like, obviously, there's a clear a-hole, but how would you address this with your sister? How would you approach them and have this conversation? Because I think that I would try to be knowledgeable on the topic. I don't know if I would necessarily bring like a case study, but I would definitely research, like, do a quick Google, like, how does this impact a woman's body? Because it can't be good. And I want to know if like my concern is validated, but I also think that, yeah, the timing was not great. The approach was not great. I get that you were worried, though. This one is a quick one, but I found it in Am I the Devil? And truly, some people, guys. It is titled, My 24 male, girlfriend 22 female, and her sister 20 female are both pregnant with my children. Neither of them know about the other. I want to do the right thing. Throwaway account because my brother and a few in real life friends know my username. I have done a terrible, terrible thing. I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. I'm really not looking to be judged here, but I know it's going to come no matter what. You bet it is, buddy. I found out the same day about both of them being pregnant. I had been with my girlfriend for 2 years, and her sister and I hooked up around 3 weeks ago. It only happened once she told me she was on birth control. Obviously, she's not. Um, so I'm sorry, it only happened once she said this. That makes it sound like it was premeditated, and you were like, you thought about it, and you were like, no, not unless you're on birth control, instead of like heat of the moment. Both are terrible. Should not partake in either. However, with the yeah, we thought about it, but like she's on birth control. It's not like I'm gonna have consequences. No, you shouldn't have done it, my guy. This is also 6 years old, so take it with a grain of salt. My girlfriend and I have been trying to, so I know it's mine. Oh, you've been trying with your girl? You guys have been actively trying to have a child? Okay. And you're cheating on her. All right. But 3 weeks ago, that's crazy. To find out you're pregnant, well, I guess you could find out you're pregnant like 11 days. Yeah, okay. That checks out. I'm going to keep reading. Her sister says hers is definitely mine because she hasn't been with anyone else in 2 months. I convinced my girlfriend to wait to tell people for a couple of weeks, and her sister said she's going to wait for me to tell the family. I need to come clean. I need them both to know early on so I can sleep at night. I'm aware I'm going to be hated by their entire family and possibly all our friends. I'm trying to do the right thing, if there's even an option. Any advice is appreciated. So that's nice. That was in relationship advice. Let's see. There is an update. And we need to know it. We need to know it right now. Oh, I just clicked on the update and it's gone. Okay. Um so the update's gone, but someone mentioned in the comments basically the sister told the girlfriend that she slept with her and they planned the fake pregnancy scare to get revenge and now she's dumping him. So thank God this man is not spreading his seed so that he can make little mini him to go out into the world and do horrible, I mean, in his words, terrible, terrible things. So that was just insane, and I had to include it as a quick little sibling one. We took a little right turn into relationship advice, even though it was in Am I the Devil? And now we're going back to Am I the A-hole for this next one. It is Am I the A-hole for not making my sister's wedding? Throwaway account, also on mobile, so sorry for typos. You guys in your throwaway accounts. I say that like I wouldn't also make a throwaway account, but mine's more so that people don't find out who I am, not that other people who I know find me. I'm scared. Okay. Anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get on in. My sister, 26 female, that's me. I'm 26 female. Okay, anyway, got married last month. I, 32 female, was originally a part of her bridal party as a bridesmaid, so we've got a 6-year age difference. Obviously, as her big sister, I was extremely happy for her and played a big role in the planning over the past year. We love being involved. For the past 5 months, I've been seeing a really great guy, 25 male. It's a serious relationship, and we've even begun to think about marriage ourselves. After a couple months of dating, I told my sister about him and showed her a few pictures. She immediately became upset and told me that my boyfriend was mean to her in high school. Supposedly, he and his friends used to call her names and made an Instagram account dedicated to bullying her. I never heard her talk about this growing up. When I asked my boyfriend about it, he said he didn't even talk to her in high school. Pause. I didn't go to my sister about when I was bullied. I went to like my mom. I didn't go to my sister. But the 6 years older thing, that's even more of a reason why she wouldn't go to you. Because when she was in high school? Yeah, you were literally in your junior year of college. Why would she, like, were you guys super duper close? Because I feel like that, I don't know why she would go to you about that. Also, you're dating a 25-year-old, like, his frontal lobe is just now developing. I feel like when it comes to age gaps, if you're dating 30 and up, you should be like 27 or older, because the difference between like a 26 to 20-year-old and like a 27-year-old is insane. Like, you just wake up one day and you're like, wow, I actually think that I'm going to be excited to do my taxes this year. Wow, oh my gosh, if I were to get a new dishwasher, that would make my week. Like, you care about these things, and it's like you just wake up one day and you're like, wow, I would enjoy that. Versus before, when you're like texting your friends when you're gonna go out. Not that we don't have fun, we still have fun, but things are different. So yeah, that also the fact that she clocked it immediately, and he like is the same age coincidentally. It sounds like all you did was show, unless you told her the age, like all you did was show her a picture and the name. Also, I was bullied by a couple guys back in the day, like way back. And I know what they look like. I know their names. I haven't seen them in years, but I guarantee if you showed me a picture of them, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's him. Like, I could, I can see it in my head now. So to say that she's lying about something that was traumatic, if they made an Instagram account dedicated to bullying her, that's not just like calling her ugly. That's taking the time to make a email to then turn that email into a separate Instagram account to then bully her. So yeah, um that's not okay. And it already sounds like you're not believing her. Like, when I asked my boyfriend, he didn't even talk to her in high school. What? Why are you not siding with your sister? This might be why she didn't talk to you in high school. This might be why she didn't talk to you about the bullying. Doesn't sound like you really are on her side. I don't know why he would lie to me, especially when I told him I would be understanding if it were true. You what? You would be a... Okay, whatever. I told my sister she must be mistaken, but she insisted that my boyfriend is her high school bully. As the wedding approached, I RSVP'd with my boyfriend as my plus one. My sister called me the next day and said that he was not allowed to come to the wedding for any of the other celebrations. Agreed. That's weird. That's uncomfy. It's her day. I tried to reason with her since she wasn't screening anyone else's plus ones, but she can be stubborn. Ma'am, this plus one is her bully. Let's just think about that. Eventually, after some back and forth, I decided to drop out of the bridal party and not attend the wedding. My family and, of course, my sister are all very upset with me, but I feel like I'm doing the right thing standing with my boyfriend. Am I the a-hole? Yes. You've been dating this guy for 5 months. 5 months. You haven't even hit your 6-month anniversary, which would be half a year, which is when I feel like things start to get a little bit more serious. But one, it's her wedding. Two, you dropped out of the bridal party. You were like involved in the wedding supposedly, and you just dropped it for a guy who is what 32, like 7 years younger than you. Yeah, 7. You dropped it for a guy who's 5. You've been dating for 5 months. You've known for 5 months. Supposedly is bullying your sister. I would believe the sister. I think that you should always side with the sister. Are you not going to side with your family? You've known your sister for 26 years and you're siding with a guy? Yeah, no, we need a reality check. Um, Someone said, you're the a-hole, weddings are expensive, wanting a plus one for a 5-month relationship makes you an a-hole to begin with. Which is another point. A lot of people don't even give plus ones unless it's like you are very serious. And like you said, this could be going in a serious direction, but like I'm talking like a year, 2 years. Some it's not even like unless you're engaged. Like, and just say, oh, it's been 5 months, like I really like him. Obviously he's not gonna tell you if he bullied her. Like, you would understand. That would make you an a-hole if you understood. He's obviously not gonna tell you. Sounds like you deserve each other though, because you're clearly not very nice to your sister either. Okay, let's do one more. This one is actually from r/Charlotte Dobre YouTube. So, hey girl, hey, love your channel. Watch it every single day as soon as it's uploaded while I'm doing my thing. Obviously, you guys have probably heard of Charlotte if you're watching me because she's a way bigger creator, but she does Reddit also, and I love her a lot. So, this was on her Reddit, but it came up on my homepage, so I thought I would share it with you guys. My sister caused $1,600 worth of damage to my house and says I'm the problem. I, 34 female, and my husband, 35, decided to take a family vacation with our son, 6, on a cruise for 7 days to the Bahamas. Ooh, I'm jealous. Since we'd be gone for so long, I started asking around for someone to keep an eye on our home while we were gone. I mentioned it to my sister, 22 female, and she said she would do it for $100 for the whole week. That's kind of crazy. That's honestly not bad. Like $100 is pretty cheap. But 22, she's old enough to know what's what. I double checked with her that she'd be okay to do it and that she'd be able to make it to our house, which is 30 minutes from her house and 17 minutes from her job. She said she could and asked for a list of things to do while we were gone. My requests were simple. I asked her to stop by on Sunday, the day after we left, Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, the day before we came back. All I asked her to do was to make sure my 14-year-old cat had food and water, feed our goldfish, and that our house was still standing throughout the week. She agreed and even offered to put our garbage can out for the week too. Okay, so doing that for $100, that's easy money. Now, like $100, honestly, to do all that, yeah, easy money. I feel like a lot of people would do that for like 50. I mean, heck, I've done it for free for friends before. Anyway, Friday before we left, she stopped by to get our house keys and asked for the money. I paid her right then the $100 she asked for and gave her the instructions again. I told her that I would be leaving the water running in both bathrooms and the kitchen since it's been bitterly cold where we live in New York. Our cat will only drink from the sink or moving water source as well, so the faucets are her favorite place for that. By the way, this is from 4 days ago, so I'm guessing that the huge winter storm that hit all of us and took us all out, that was during this time, if I had to guess. And yeah, we had our faucets dripping, and we're in Kentucky, so it's way warmer here, so I can only imagine. I checked in with my sister throughout the week. She sent me a picture of our cat on Tuesday, and the other day she said everything was fine. I FaceTimed with her on Thursday, and she said she was going to our house after work. Friday, we hit rough seas and discovered we'd be delayed getting back to port by 5 hours. I let her know since we had free Wi-Fi from the cruise due to the delay. I was in constant contact with her from Friday on due to having Wi-Fi. Sunday, she called and let me know she brought our house key back and left it near our fish tank while we were on our 5-hour long drive home since she hadn't been able to the day before. We arrived at our house at nearly 10 p.m. and walked into what I'm calling the beginning of my worst nightmare as a homeowner. It was 13 degrees in our house. 13. Every faucet had ice from it right to the drain. Our fish tank was frozen solid. That's like the fact that it was frozen solid, depending on the size of the tank, meant that it had to have been that cold for a really long time, because when it's like a big chunk of water, it takes a little while. Bluey, our son's goldfish, was stuck in a block of ice. Yeah, it had to be pretty bad. My cat was so cold and dehydrated that we had to use an emergency vet phone service to ask how to help her. I called her immediately and asked if she had noticed it like this while she was there, and she was quick to tell me she hadn't and that she couldn't talk. She said she had been there Thursday and everything was in order. Hold on. I thought she was there Sunday and left the key by the tank. So now she wasn't there since Thursday? It took 4 hours to get my house above 60 degrees. We had no water since everything was frozen. The next morning, something didn't sit right with me about her story, so I checked Life 360. Yeah, because the Sunday and then the Thursday, that just, yeah. I don't generally use it for her, but she's been on our circle since she lived with us since she was 14. I got the free trial so I could see her movement for the last week. She had only been to our house Tuesday. That's it. I checked every day to see if maybe she swung by super quick, but nothing. I was fuming. I called her and asked her again when she had been there last, and she again told me Thursday. I informed her that I knew she was lying because of Life 360, and she tried to tell me it was wrong. I asked her how she could do something like that, and she said, "I'm sorry I caused you such an inconvenience." I had to hang up before I said something to her that I regret. This is angering me so much because you guys know I love my animals. We have 3 dogs, 4 bunnies. I got my horse. My animals are my whole world, okay? I am the mom who doesn't have, like, the childless mom who puts all of her things into my animals and they have everything they could ever want. So the fact that she's like, "I'm sorry, this has been such an inconvenience that I didn't do what I said I was going to do," and it's literally like feeding animals, like, yes, making sure the house is okay is fine. But at the end of the day, that's all materialistic. Should she have done it regardless? Like, even if she told her to come stand in the house and, like, spin in a circle 10 times and then leave, if she agreed to do it, she should have done it because she's 22 years old and she should trust that what her sister's telling her is important enough that she should do it. But on top of the potential damage to the house, the faucets and, like, just making sure the faucets are good. Like, if I would have anxiety about that and making sure, like, something didn't break, something wasn't going wrong, like, making sure they're good. On top of all of that, not feeding the animals is crazy. That is just, like, so oh my god, like, that is insane. Like, to just not have any sort of sympathy for, like, the animals, like, be like, "Oh, sorry it was an inconvenience that I didn't feed your animals that I told you I was gonna feed, and you paid me ahead of time to feed, and you paid me more than it was probably worth." Yeah. Yeah, that's annoying. Flash forward a day and a half, and our pipes were still frozen. We found someone to help us thaw them. That's when all hell broke loose, as if it hadn't already. Water started to spray out the bottom of our house. We had to call an emergency plumber who charged us $700 to tell us he couldn't fix it since it was our water meter and the town has to fix it. We just went through this on New Year's. It's such a headache. Oh, I'm so sorry. It says it was so late at night, we had to call 911 to have someone contact the town to come shut our water off. The guy who came said they'd be by first thing this morning to fix it. Well, they didn't. I had to call every government office in our town to track someone down and come fix it. We finally had water. Sorry if you see my dog's forehead just like in the frame. She's just chilling. She's just doing her thing. Little bonk on the forehead. She's there. Then the leaks started. Both of our showers and one of our bathroom sinks started leaking in the walls. We had to race to get someone to help us get in there to shut the water off. Our water fixtures are cracked and will need to be replaced. Overall, we are looking at $1,600 worth of damage and repairs, all because she couldn't be bothered to do a job she was paid and agreed to do. $1,600. Honestly, I was expecting it to be more than $1,600, and I'm worried that once you actually start getting into it, it will be more. But even if it was $10, it's the point. Like, bestie, what? What? The lack of, like, the fact she just couldn't care less is insane to me. I haven't spoken to her since she tried lying to me. Do you guys hear the car doing donuts literally outside of my house? Hopefully you can't hear it after editing, so ignore this if you can't. But they just did like 3 donuts and drove away. That's cool. I haven't spoken to her since she tried lying to me. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't either. Like, that's kind of crazy. I know that she's only 22, but she's also 22. Like, you're old enough to kind of know right from wrong. She sent the $100 I paid her back through Venmo. I'm having such a hard time with trying to decide how to handle her. At least she shows some sort of, like, guilt by sending the money back. Both of our parents are gone, and her and I are super close. I don't want this to end our relationship, but I can't even stomach to think about her and all the stress she's caused us. I'm waiting to hear from our homeowner insurance to see what we can be covered for. I've considered making her pay for half the damages, but someone told me that it wouldn't be right since she is so young. I feel like it's time for her to grow up and take responsibility. Honestly, $800, she's 22. She should be able to come up with $800. Even if it's like a payment plan, yeah, she should pay for half the damages because that, yeah, like, she caused it. Her irresponsibility, is that the word I'm looking for? Is she was irresponsible enough that she caused it, right? Yeah, you know where I'm going with that. Brain's not working. But yeah, I think like $800 is completely reasonable, even if it's like $50 a month for the next, what, 16 months. Like, it would be better than nothing. And it teaches her to not do that. Like, what? Like, she literally, like, the animals are what gets me. And yeah, like the house, like, that is your house. That is damage that you now have to put so much work into fixing. Not to mention your child is probably traumatized because they saw Bluey, the fish, frozen. And like, bro. And there is an edit to add. It says, "Hi everyone, I just want to answer some questions that I've been getting in the comments. 1. Goldfish survived. We were very surprised and overjoyed to see him unexpectedly swimming around his tank after he thawed out. I enlisted the help of our local aquarium expert who helped us with some extra things for his tank to make sure he recovered completely. Our cat has also fully recovered after a trip to the vet Monday. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt and had no lasting side effects besides being mad at us for leaving. That's good. That is very good. Thankfully, our water is working again. Our leaks ended up being minor than what we first thought, and my brother-in-law and husband were able to get everything back in working order. Okay, that's really great. I'm happy to hear that. 3, we have contacted and made a claim with our insurance. Also great. 4, our heat was set at 62 degrees on our smart thermostat. That's cold for me, but if y'all are used to 62 and the animals are cool, then that's you. We are not entirely sure what happened that caused the house to drop so cold. It was negative 30 something for 3 straight days where we live, but we can't figure out what happened. We have a tech coming out to see if there was an issue with it, but it's working fine now. 5. We left the water running in multiple sinks in our home to prevent them from freezing. The plumber believes that it was just so cold that it made the water meter freeze, causing our issue. My best friend has a home 3 houses down from us, and the same thing happened to her water meter 2 days before we were leaving for vacation. She is currently trying to sell her house and isn't staying there, so she wasn't able to house sit for us. That makes me, like, even more upset because you knew it was a possibility. So I don't know if you knew, like, before the trip, but I would have brought that up to the sister and been, like, even more aware and been like, hey, this happened. Can you just keep an eye on that? Like, that's where my head would have gone, but I'm extremely anxious. So, 6. My sister and I are close. I raised her, and she moved in with us when she was 14 due to my father passing away and my mom having to move into assisted living. She and my husband have a great relationship too. She's basically our daughter at this point. The biggest issue we have been having is that she recently started dating a man 10 years older than her, and it's her first relationship, and he is her top priority now. I've been trying to give her the benefit of the doubt since they've started dating. I hate the whole relationship because it feels icky to me and he rubs me the wrong way, but she just goes along with whatever he says or wants. She has become a completely different person since being with him. She's never done anything like this before in the past, besides a couple minor things when she was a teenager, which were typical for her age, like forgetting to take the garbage out, getting locked out, things like that, but nothing to this extreme that would cause either of us to think she wouldn't be able to handle this. So, when it comes to a girl, it's very normal for a 22-year-old or someone who's in their first relationship to be all about the guy they're dating. So that's not crazy. However, the guy being 10 years older is icky. I agree. Like I said, like if they're not like 27 or older, I feel like that's when like the age gap is less bothersome or worrisome. But when they're like 26 or younger, the age gap is crazy. Like I am not a fan. Unless it's like 26 and 30 is a maybe. That's like an iffy. It depends on the individual couple. All that to say, guy sounds like bad news, but the more you push her away from him, the more she's going to push towards him. So I think that aside from being supportive while also asking her questions that will maybe prompt her to think about things in her own way, like if he says something that you think is weird, say like, "Oh, why would he say that? That's interesting. I hadn't heard of that before." Or like, don't do it in a way that's like condescending, like why would he say that? But also make her start to kind of question his actions and things like that, while really focusing on the consequences for this specifically. Like, she needs to pay you back, bare minimum. And the consequences for this maybe will have her thinking, like, if he is the reason she didn't do it, like, maybe he is bad news. Maybe I shouldn't have been hanging out with him. Things like that. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You guys, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on all of this. So, if you're on a platform where you can comment, I'm looking at you, Spotify and YouTube, definitely leave a comment down below telling me what you thought about each story, where you're at with each person, how you would have handled it, who's the a-hole. I want to know all of the tea. Like, genuinely, you guys make my day when I read your comments. So definitely let me know. We'll chit chat about it down below. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. And I will be back on Sunday with a whole new podcast episode. Bye, guys. Love you.
You was the first to